The 5th of March, Rabbi Furst, Mishna Berura, Purim.
Uh, my mic was off. Good morning. Again, good morning. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here. She was Hamanafshi Yerushalayim Kirzuma, learning our second shir in Hilchas Megillas Esther and Siman Tuf Reish Pei Ches. Yeah, we'll be jumping around a little bit. Um, let's see. In Tuf Reish Pei Ches, um, let's okay. Let's begin. Let's begin in Sif Aleph. We'll jump around a bit, try and cover as many halachas relevant to us as possible.
Oh, Sif Aleph. Okay. Tough pay. Sorry, tough resh pay chet. Okay. It says Karakim Mukafim Choma Miyamot Yoshua ben Nun Afilu Mukafin Akshav Korin Betet Vav. Okay. Afilu imheim bechutz la'aretz. Wow. We afilu im bahem asara batlanim. Let's see. Okay, Zibor. V'hushahu kaf achar kach yashav o sheyashav techila al da'at lahakifo אחר כך לאפוקי שנודע שישב תחילה על דעת שלא להקיפו, אבל מסתמה הוקפה ולסוף ישבה the rhyme. And that was quite a bit. Okay, so it says cities, mukafim, I guess surrounded by a wall in the days of Yoshua ben Nun. Okay. Even if they were not surrounded. Oh, even if they're not surrounded now.
Right. And they used to have a wall.
Right.
Like right, Jericho. The walls came tumbling down. At the time of Yeshua ben Nun, Jericho had a wall, but Yeshua ben Nun came in, and the walls came tumbling down. So right now, there's no wall in Jericho. But since it was walled at the time of Yeshua ben Nun, they would keep as well.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. So they keep tests well. Okay. Let's see. So Afilu, let's see. Imheim b'chutz alor. Oh, even if they're outside of Eretz Israel.
Right.
Okay. Vafilu, and even, let's see. If they have, if they don't have 10 batlanim, or those that work, malachtan.
But Lanim, those who are, as it says in the parish, Batlim and Malachim, those, even if they don't have 10 who are exempt from work, and the Isaac Mitzrayim Tzibur, they spend their time taking care of the needs of the congregation.
Oh. Okay. So this, let's see, Vahu Shechukaf, Charkach Yashav. And what those Shehukaf.
It has to be on the condition that they were originally walled and then they settled it.
Oh, okay. Then they settled it. Or they settled it first, I guess. Aldat with the opinion of putting up a wall afterwards.
Right, with the intention of eventually walling it.
Uh-huh. Okay. Lafuke shenoda sheyashav. So what this excludes those who dwelled there first?
Right, that's to exclude those that it's known, Kishenoida, that it's known that they Yashiv Tehillah, they were known that they were settled first, Al Dash Shalohikifu, on the with the intention not to wall it.
Ah, wow. Okay. Okay, so Aval, but Mistama, what those in doubt that the city had a wall?
Aval, that Mistama in general, meaning without any knowledge one way or the other, in general, it's always going to be considered to be that it was walled first and then it was settled.
Ah, okay. Wow. Okay. So let's go. Mishna Berura. It says Mukafim Choma Biyamot Yoshua ben Nun. Okay, so they were walled from the time of Yoshua ben Nun. Ki Bizman Mordechai Bi'et Hanes Kativ. When at the time of Mordechai, Be'et Hanes, it was a time of a miracle, as Kativ was written, or is written. Shayudim Shebachol Makom Nilchamu B'Yom Yud Gimel, that the Jews in every place fought on Yud Gimel. Presume that's Adar. V'nachu b'yom Yudalid, and they rested on Yudalid. V'asu oto mishpeh v'simcha, and they made for themselves I guess, a party and happiness, joy.
Right. Feasting and joy. It was then they made for themselves feasting and joy.
Oh, feasting. Okay, good. V'shushan nitan layudim lilachem im ha'akum gam b'yom yudalid. Okay, and in Shushan, it was given to the Jews that they had to fight with the non-Jews also on the day of Yudalid. V'lo asu Yom Tov ad Tetvav. They did not make the holiday until Tetvav, the 15th. Okay. V'kevan sheboto zaman nechlechu, since
This is the reason why Purim is divided into 2 days.
oh, okay. Purim is 2 days. Okay. Excuse me. V'lachein kishekava Mordechai ve'Esther behaskamat Anshe Knesset Hagadolah Likboa Purim Dorot. Okay, and it was therefore Mordechai and Esther established with the agreement of the men of the Great Assembly to fix Purim for the generations.
To establish Purim for generations.
Oh, Likbo is to establish. Okay. Okay, good. Chilku Gam Kain Oto Vishnei Yamim. They also decided for it to be 2 days. V'haya ra'oi l'takain shekol ir shehi mukefet choma kemo Shushan. Okay, v'haya ra'oi. And it was appropriate to fix or establish that every city, let's see, just place. 1 second. To establish in every city that was surrounded by a wall, Kemo Shushan, like Shushan, Yedomelu Shushan Lasot B'Tevav. And if it was similar to Shushan, to have it on, or make it on Tetvav, the 15th.
Meaning, right. So meaning when they originally established Purim to be a national holiday for Jews, it really was appropriate that any city that was walled at the time of Purim should be keeping the date of Tezvav. Right?
Oh, good. Okay.
Why? Why don't we just say Shushan? That was the only place where they were still fighting.
Well, let's look at the next line in the Mishna Berura.
Okay. V'haya ra'oi litlot hakavod b'Shushan uletakein shekol ir shehi mukefet choma miyamod Achashverosh. Oh, yikra'u b'tetvav. Oh, okay. So it's appropriate to establish the honor in Shushan, Takain, and fix every city that had a wall in the days of Achashverosh. They had called it on Tetvav, the 15th. Okay. Ach Kevan. Yeah.
Since in Shushan, where the miracle took place, and that was the capital city, so in order to give covered recognition to Shushan as where the miracle took place, really, it would be appropriate that all cities that would be walled would also share in that day that is devoted to the celebration that took place in Shushan on Tezvav. Right? So that's really what should have been. But if they did that, there would be a problem, as the Mishna Berura is going to describe now.
Okay. Ach Kevan she'eretz Yisrael hayta chareva b'oto 8. But since that the land of Israel was
Desolate.
desolate. Oh, at this time. Okay, or at that time. V'yelefi zeh ayarot mukafot b'chutza la'aretz chashuvot mehem. Okay, so and it would be, according to this, the cities that were walled, were surrounded by walls in the land, chashuvot, are are important?
Right. According to this, since at that time when Purim took place, Eretz Yisrael was desolate, meaning there were no cities, there were no inhabitants for a large extent that anyone living here in Eretz Yisrael at the time.
Oh,
So
okay.
therefore, it would turn out that the walled cities in Chutz La'aretz, they would be keeping Purim on Tezvav like Shushan would, they would be considered to be more significant than the cities in Eretz Yisrael. So we didn't want to do that.
Okay. Shekol Ir Shehi Mukefet Miyamot Yoshua Ben Nun Yikru B'Tetvav. Okay. So all the cities that were walled at the time of Yoshua Ben Nun is called on Tetvav. Afal Pi She'ein Mukafot Akshav. Even if it's not now surrounded by a wall, the Hashar be Yudalid, and the rest of the cities would be on Yudalid.
Right. So therefore, we established the keeping of Tezvav not based on the walls of the time of Purim in Shushan, but they went back in history to the time of Yeshua ben Nun.
Uh-huh.
I still have my question.
Yeah, what's the question again?
Why are we talking about walls? What we're saying is that since the miracle happened in Shushan, we want to recognize that by having Shushan be on the 15th, because that's the day that the fighting continued only in Shushan. So why don't we just say that on Shushan we do the 15th and every other city we do the 14th?
In order to have the emphasis on the significance of Eretz Israel, so really, Shushan, Yeshua is going to discuss this in a minute as well. Really, Shushan should also be on Yud Dalet. Shushan itself should be on Yud Dalet because it perhaps wasn't even walled at the time of Yeshua ben Nun. Shushan may not have been established as a walled city until maybe centuries later. So, in order to emphasize the significance of the miracle that took place in Shushan, we had to have some type of criteria by which to emphasize that. So you're right. We could, if Shushan is on a river, right? If they want, they could have picked any city that's on a river has to keep Tezvav, right? If Shushan was next to a volcano, they could have said any city that's next to a volcano has to keep Tezvav. So it's not something intrinsic in the fact that it was a walled city. It was a reason to divide the 2 days. They saw fit to divide Purim into 2 days. So the first day is easy. Your dollar is easy. Because that's when all the cities except Shushan were fighting. Like they were fighting on Yud Gimel, and they came to rest on Yud Dalet, and that's when they made the Mishna and Simcha. So how we can now develop another day? By what criteria shall we pick to have another day? And where shall we celebrate the Tesvav day? So why is Tesvav significant? Tesvav is significant because that's Shushan. Shushan, they had 2 days. They had a day of fighting on Yud Gimel and a day of fighting on Yud Daled, and they made their Simcha and Mishna, they made their celebration on Tesvav. So therefore, Shushan is Tesvav. Now, okay, so we want to commemorate that special miracle that took place in Shushan on not only Yud Daled, but also Yud Gimel. And the celebration is there. We're going to take place on Tesvav. So how are we going to make it when we set up our 2 days of Purim? By what right shall we choose to make another day, and where shall we say that there should be another day on Tesvav? So Shushan was at a certain aspect to it, that it was walled. Okay. Like I say, theoretically, if they wanted to pick the fact that Shushan's on a river, they could have said any city that's on a river should keep Tesvav. But since they wanted to emphasize the significance of Shushan's miracle, they chose the fact that it was a walled city. So, but now, if we picked all this, that's what the Mishnah just finished explaining. If we picked all walled cities, then it would turn out that the walled cities in Chutzlaretz would be more significant than the walled cities in Eretz Israel, because there were no walled cities at the time of Purim. So therefore, you couldn't go according to the time of Purim. So they had to back up the time to the time of Yeshua ben Nun. But theoretically, it didn't have to be anything specific about being a walled city. They could have picked some other criteria. I think so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh wow! Look what time it is. Wow, what happened?
Yeah, well, this was
That's
a
what happens when you
little.
have a. That's what happens when you ask a good question, Louis. See?
My fault.
We won't
Okay.
be blue.
Well, we'll continue this tomorrow, Mr. Shem.
Thank you.
Okay.
Scott.
Well, thanks for the meeting.
See ya. Have a
Mayor,
good day.
Thank you both. Have a good afternoon.